Murray was born in Belfast in 1935. From an early age, all Ruby wanted to do was sing. Having had surgery as an infant for swollen glands, her voice acquired a husky quality, particularly her speaking voice. Later in her career, while on tour in the US, Frank Sinatra expressed concern that she wouldn't have to sing until she got over her cold. Encouraged by her father, Ruby performed on her first concerts in Belfast. She began to tour in Northern Ireland as a child star in various revue shows. Having been spotted by producer Richard Afton, she appeared on BBC TV at the age of 12. As she was underage, she had to delay her television career, but her local popularity was no doubt boosted by her billing as Ruby Murray, BBC TV star. Before long, Ruby was touring all around Ireland, north and south, along with her accompanist and lifelong friend, Mary Cunningham. One of the shows, Yankee Doodle Blarney, ventured further afield, where she was once again spotted by Richard Afton, who offered her the role of resident singer on a BBC show called Quite Contrary. She was soon offered a record deal with Columbia Records, and her first hit record, Heartbeat, released in November 1954. It soared up the charts and reached number 3 in the top 20. Soon after this, in January 1955, her greatest and most popular recording was released and went all the way to number 1, where it remained for 3 weeks. This song would forever be associated with her and would become her signature tune. It was called Softly, Softly.
Touch my lips.
set a record for having 5 hit singles in the top 20 at the same time. These were Heartbeat, Softly Softly, Let Me Go Lover, Happy Days and Lonely Nights, and If Anyone Finds This, I Love You. This record was only surpassed by Taylor Swift as recently as 2022. Mary Cunningham remarked on how unaffected Ruby was in the midst of fame and adulation, never adopting airs and graces, and never fully aware of the magnitude of her success. Following her chart-topping success in 1955, she appeared with Norman Wisdom in a show at the London Palladium which ran for 7 months. Many TV and film appearances followed, and she continued to tour in 1957. While working in Blackpool, she met and married fellow star Bernie Burgess. They later had 2 children, Julie and Tom, who followed their parents' footsteps into show business. Sometime in the early 1950s, a woman named Eilish Farrelly from Kings Court, County Cavan, had written a song. It was a simple song, like so many Irish songs, expressing a longing to be back home in the home place. Eilish could never have foreseen the worldwide fame her song would go on to achieve when Ruby Murray recorded it with Columbia Records in 1958. The chestnut tree and the wishing well mentioned in the song can still be seen as features in Doonalee Forest Park.
Once
1950s, a new genre of music swept in from the United States and began to make its presence felt on this side of the Atlantic. This was rock and roll with its driving rhythms and screaming electric guitars. Ruby's gentle, romantic style of singing couldn't compete and fell out of fashion. Her final appearance in the charts was with Goodbye Jimmy Goodbye in 1959. However, although her days as a major chart-topping star were over, she continued with live performances and TV shows and would do so until nearly the end of her life. Ruby had suffered from stage fright, a problem she never overcame. Partly as a result of this, she became increasingly dependent on alcohol and was to struggle with it for the rest of her life. Her marriage to Bernie Burgess came under pressure and eventually broke down. They divorced and Bernie got custody of the children. They remained friends and Bernie visited her during her final illness. She later married Ray Lamar, an old friend from her early touring days, but this marriage also failed. Her dear friend Mary Cunningham later joked, maybe she should have married me. There'd have been less problems. Ruby spent the last 2 years of her life in a nursing home in Torquay in the south of England, where she entertained residents and carers with her songs. She died of an alcohol-related illness in 1996. Mary Cunningham played Softly, Softly at her funeral. It was a measure of Ruby's fame that her name found its way into Cockney rhyming slang as the rhyme for curry, a fact which he apparently found amusing. Along with her chart-topping hits, Ruby's repertoire included many traditional Irish ballads. We conclude Ruby's story now with a song she recorded and performed many times, Danny Boy.
The pipes are was well off. Her father, Jack Murphy, had made a fortune in the Klondike gold rush and bought the local big house on his return. Delia had an idyllic childhood, wandering the fields and singing wherever she went. She became friends with Tom Maughan, the son of a local traveller family who camped on her father's estate, and it was from the travellers that she learned many of her songs. She attended the local national school and later went on as a boarder to the prestigious Dominican College in Eccles Street in Dublin. Afterwards, she attended University College Galway, where she graduated with a BCom degree. It was while she was at UCG that she met her future husband, Tom Kiernan. They were an unlikely pairing. He, a shy academic young man, destined for the diplomatic service, while Delia was outgoing, devil-may-care and ready to burst into song at the drop of a hat. They married in 1924 and later went on to have 4 children. Tom Kiernan's first posting was to London, and Delia found herself in a new role as a diplomat's wife. Although she lacked the conventional sophistication expected of someone in her position, she was a welcoming and generous hostess with an ability to get along with people from all walks of life. The Kiernan residence soon became a focal point for the Irish in London at the time. One regular visitor was the singer John McCormack, and he and Delia became great friends. And in spite of him teasing her that a singer needed 100 qualities and that Delia had 99, the only one she lacked was a voice. Back in Dublin in 1936, Leslie Thorne of HMV Records heard Delia singing at a party. He was very impressed and brought her to Abbey Road in London to do her first recording. She was accompanied by her daughter Blonde on accordion and Arthur Darley on guitar. The songs she chose were If I Were a Blackbird, The Spinning Wheel Song, and 3 Lovely Lassies from Bangor. We now have 3 Lovely Lassies.
The
three-year whirlwind of concerts around Ireland, as well as a part in the 1938 film The Irishman. In 1941, Tom Kiernan was posted to Rome as Irish ambassador to the Vatican. Delia undoubtedly had mixed feelings about this, as it would mean the end of her singing career. However, she dutifully prepared to take up her new role as Her Excellency in Rome. She gave a farewell concert in the Father Matthew Hall in Dublin prior to her departure. The hall was named for a famous temperance priest, Father Matthew, but Delia couldn't help noticing an elderly caption in the audience singing along enthusiastically with the chorus of The Moonshiner. Much to his amusement, she later told him that he better treat her well or she'd tell the Pope on him in Rome. Once again in Rome, Delia proved to be an excellent hostess, entertaining not only diplomatic dignitaries but also homesick young Irish students who were stranded in Rome for the duration of the war. Among others, Monsignor Hugh O'Flaherty, who worked in the Vatican, who was a frequent visitor to the embassy. In 1943, the German occupation of Rome began, and O'Flaherty launched an escape line to help escaped Allied prisoners and also Jews who were by now suffering even greater oppression than before. He was confined to the Vatican and faced torture and certain death were he to be captured by the Nazis. He set up an underground network of friends and colleagues to help the escapees. There were posters all over Rome warning that anyone found sheltering Allied prisoners would be shot. However, Delia made the brave decision to risk her life and to make use of her immunity as Her Excellency to help Monsignor O'Flaherty in his game of cat and mouse with the Germans. O'Flaherty's forays outside the Vatican were made in disguise. He managed to evade capture, much to the frustration of the Germans, earning the nickname Scarlet Pimpernel of the Vatican. Delia and her eldest daughter Blanche made liberal use of the embassy limousine with its tricolour flying in procuring black market supplies for feeding and clothing escapees and also transporting prisoners, sometimes disguised as Irish priests, to safe houses. The war ended in 1945 and Delia's name was suggested by the British War Office for a decoration. However, it was decided that the decoration of the Irish ambassador's wife for what were in fact unusual activities might be frowned on in Dublin, so the notion was dropped. Throughout all her adventures, the blackbird from County Mayo still yearned to sing. The next song is Fire Blackbird.
I follow the ship that
of the newspapers. But she'd found the climate was too hot and she was missing the singing career she'd abandoned before their sojourn in Rome. At a reception in the Town Hall Theatre in Melbourne, Delia gave a surprise recital, prompting the banner headline, "Era Minister's Wife Steals the Show," in a Melbourne newspaper next day. It was recorded by ABC Networks and was the first live recording of Delia in concert. By 1949, Delia had become discontented with Australia and longed to resume her singing career. So she returned to Ireland and did some further recording. She toured many venues in Ireland and Britain, but she eventually tired of life on the road, and in 1955 she rejoined her husband on a posting to Germany and subsequently to Canada. She loved Canada and bought a farm in Ontario near where her daughter Blonde was now living. She was to make one more recording in 1961. It was her only LP, titled The Queen of Connemara. Through her friendship with Aidan O'Hara, who would later write her biography, she was asked to do a broadcast with CBC. Delia so impressed everyone with her charm and professionalism that it was decided to stage a live performance at CBC's Summer Festival in Quebec. Delia was the star of the show, keeping the audience spellbound from the moment she took the stage. In 1969, with her health failing, she returned to Dublin, where she bought a cottage in the Strawberry Beds near Lucan. Word got out that she was back home, and an appearance on the Late Late Show was arranged. The audience reaction was phenomenal. She died shortly afterwards, a few days short of her 69th birthday. Delia's extraordinary life can best be summed up in a line from one of her favourite songs, The Moonshiner. "I live till I die." She did indeed live every moment. We now have The Moonshiner.
If the moonshine don't kill me, Bridie Gallagher was born in 1924 in Creaslock in County Donegal. She came from a musical family and learned many songs from her mother, who also taught her to play the accordion. There were concerts in the kitchen, with the kitchen table serving as Bridie's first stage. While in her teens, she began to sing with the local Katie band, and in 1942 was spotted by Eamon O'Shea, who had a travelling variety show touring Donegal and Sligo. Eamon O'Shea later wrote "Come Down from the Mountain, Katie Daly." She toured with the show for several years, learning her craft as she went. In 1948, following a star-crossed love affair, a broken-hearted Bridie left home and went to live with her aunt in Belfast. Belfast was a big, smoky, industrial city, so different from the homes of Donegal she was leaving behind. Singing in a local variety show. It was much more glamorous and sophisticated than anything Bridie had ever seen before. News spread about this talented newcomer, and soon she found she was in demand for shows all over Northern Ireland. Fortunately, her employer, Miss Harvey, was delighted with Bridie's success and gave her every encouragement, even making stage dresses for her. Around this time, she also got to see big stars like Jimmy O'Dea and Delia Murphy in concert. In 1951, she got to see one of her heroes, Judy Garland, at Dublin's Theatre Royal. Judy made a big impression on Bridie. The ease with which she engaged with the audience, walking around the stage with a handheld microphone, a style that Bridie herself would later adopt. Bridie married Bob Livingston in 1951 in Creaslock. Neither set of parents attended the wedding. Bob was Protestant and both families disapproved. They had 2 children, Jim and Peter. Bridie was now earning good money on the concert circuit. Having favoured songs by the likes of Vera Lynn and Bing Crosby, she now began to include more Irish ballads, including songs she learned from her mother in her repertoire, and her popularity soared. She played support to Delia Murphy on a tour of Northern Ireland. Shortly after this, Bridie made her first recording with Decca Records. A Mother's Love's a Blessing became an instant hit, receiving many plays on the BBC and Radio Éireann. She was the rising star of Irish show business. She got to perform in the Theatre Royal, where she had seen her idol, Judy Garland, 5 years before. She soon attracted the attention of Phil Solomons, who represented many artists, including The Bachelors and Ruby Murray. She was now top of the bill in some of the biggest theatres in England, and was soon to experience what was to be one of the highlights of her career. As she stood in the wings of a vast stage, the stage manager whispered, "2 minutes, Miss Gallagher." She could hear the orchestra, and she knew that the 8 longest minutes of her career were about to start. She heard MC Bruce Forsyth announce, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the girl from Donegal, Bridie Gallagher." She stepped out onto the stage of the London Palladium, took her cue from the orchestra and sang "The Boys from the County Armagh."
There's one fair county in Ireland, with memories so glorious and grand, where nature has lavished its bounty, it's the orchards of Erin's green land. I love her cathedral and city, once founded by Patrick so true, and it bears in the heart of its bosom the ashes of Brian Boru. It's my own Irish home, far across the foam, although I've often left it in foreign lands to roam. No matter where I wander, through cities near or far, sure my heart is at home in old Ireland, in the county of Armagh. I've travelled a part of the county, through Newtown, Forkett, Crossmaglen, around by the gap of Montparnasse, and home by Blackwater again, where the girls are so gay and so hearty, none fairer in Erin Gora. But where are the boys that can court them, like the boys from the county Armagh? It's my own Irish home, far across the foam, although I've often left it in foreign lands to roam. No matter where I wander, through cities near or far, sure my heart is at home in old Ireland, in the county of Armagh.
A huge TV audience had watched the ITV broadcast. Unfortunately, her family at home in Belfast didn't get to watch it, as UTV had not yet been established. The very next day, Bridie was on her way to New York for her first tour of the United States, during which she was to rub shoulders with Pat Boone, Ginger Rogers and Johnny Cash, to name but a few. On her return to the UK, another milestone was in store, when she had her first appearance at the Royal Albert Hall, at which she broke all records for attendance, with an audience of 7,500 on St. Patrick's Night in 1959. When she was abroad in the UK and especially in the US, she brought great happiness to the Irish emigrants she encountered. In those days, many emigrants couldn't afford to travel home, and Bridie brought a little bit of Ireland to them. A fan once said to her, "You were the one who brought us home for a little while in your singing and recording." Times change, and Bridie's career saw many changes in the music business. The large theatres of the 1950s gave way to guest appearances with the show bands in the ballrooms of the 1960s. The 1970s saw the demise of the show band era and the rise of the cabaret lounge. In 1976, Bridie's younger son Peter was tragically killed in a motorbike accident. Bridie was devastated. She went into a deep depression and didn't think she'd sing again. But with the encouragement of her older son Jim, she got back on the road and was overwhelmed by the love and support she received from her fans. A heart attack in 1981 set her back, but didn't stop her performing. She scaled back her schedule and continued to play smaller, less demanding engagements until her final concert in the year 2000 in Letterkenny. 60 years after her first public performance in Creaslock, she told her son Jim, who was in her band, that she didn't think she'd be doing this again. Throughout a career that took her all over the world and to venues that included Dublin's Theatre Royal, the London Palladium, Carnegie Hall and the Sydney Opera House, in her heart she was always the girl from Donegal. Her health deteriorated, and following several strokes she died in 2012 at the age of 87. The traffic in Belfast the day of her removal was so heavy that she had a police escort, as her son Jim said, still travelling in style. Her funeral in her native Creaslock was attended by family, friends, fellow musicians and dignitaries, and she was laid to rest beneath the shade of Muckish Mountain. We conclude our tribute now with the song that was in the repertoire of all three of our lovely lassies, Ruby Murray, Delia Murphy and Bridie Gallagher. Let him go, let him tarry.